Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Buzzer Beater from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my partner in crime, Will and D, as we bring you our take on Selection Sunday. And this time, we're taking your calls on your takes on who's in and who's out. And let me tell you something, folks, it'll be a wild ride.
It's going to be a wild ride, Jackson. Man, there's going to be some herd fan bases like possibly from Chapel Hill, possibly from Bloomington, possibly from Cincinnati, and possibly from Austin, Texas. Who's in? Who's out? Here we go. Possibly Boise as well.
Oh man,
And
it's
those
a
are
ball.
the ones.
Oh man, it's a ballroom blitz, man. Like I tell you what. But you know what's weird about this year? There hasn't been that many bid stealers, or none at all at the
Really won, like Colorado State, and you can say they stole Boise State's bid if Boise State's out. So really, that's not a bid steal at all. So yeah, I mean, this year's there's a crappy bubble, and teams are gonna there's a lot of teams that are going to get away with being in a crappy bubble this year. Which yeah, it is what it is.
Here we go. And I think you got a link pulled up, Will.
Yes,
Let's pull it up, good buddy.
these are the bubble teams right now that are. I think San Diego State should be in. San Diego State should be in. Who knows about the rest of these teams? Who the committee's going to put in?
Oof. Well, you know, San Diego State, Boise State. Ohio State, Indiana. I'm curious about them.
I think Indiana should be ranked ahead of Ohio State, but Ohio State still has a slim chance of getting in.
True. That is true. Indiana, there's been like a dogfight as to whether they should be in or out.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, I'm feeling like they're kind of getting off. They're gonna get off easy on account
They
of
could get off easy because of no bid Steelers.
Yeah. So there's that, and the fact of the matter is they are a blue blood.
Mm-hmm. I think Xavier's going to be an odd man out.
Yikes.
Just because only winning one win against. I mean, Carolina and Xavier only winning one game against Blue Bloods is just. It's not. It's pitiful.
Oh yeah, pitiful, 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 pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bandy's been getting in and out with some wins.
Bandy's they're taking their chances on their run of form at the end of the season. Wasn't great.
True.
Mm-hmm.
We can take a look at Texas' schedule for a bit. Oh Lord, 14th. Yeah, North Carolina State really doesn't do anything for you.
No.
Okay, you beat Oklahoma earlier. Yeah, good for you. Texas A&M in the SEC tournament with that battle that they had in double overtime. I mean, I guess that helps.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good Lord. This is terrible.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible how many of these teams are going to get in with these terrible schedule records and schedules because of no bid Steelers.
That's true. And I'm looking at Vandy. We could take a look at them for a bit. They lost to Texas the other day this week in the conference tournament. That really didn't help them at all.
Mm-hmm.
The loss to Drake, yeah, that doesn't help you.
If they would have beat Drake, that would help them a lot. But
Oh, that's true. Ooh. Yeah, Road Wing is Texas A&M. That does something for you. Not.
they're praying that A&M road win gets them in. Honestly, just like San Diego State's hoping that win over Houston gets them in. But I mean, a win over Houston is a lot better than a win over A&M.
And who says big non-conference wins don't help?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know. Your win against Creighton helps. Houston.
Creighton and Houston help a lot.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Man, that would have been awesome if they beat Gonzaga, but that's neither here nor there. And oh man, Ed Xavier. Let's look at them. Ew. Getting smacked off the face of the earth by Michigan's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yikes. Losing to your rival Cincinnati.
That went aged like milk.
Ugh. Oh, they got a win against Marquette on the road.
Mm-hmm. They're praying that win gets them in. They're praying. Just like Vandy's praying their road win over A&M gets them in.
Well, they got a win against UConn, but it's at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Yeah,
Honestly, Jackson, I think North Carolina or Xavier, one of them's getting in and one of them's getting out. I think those are the last two that the committee has to make.
Here's what I wonder: like, who's basically gonna opt out of the NIT? Like, if they're in.
Carolina would opt out of the NIT. I don't think Xavier. Well, I think Xavier and Ohio State, they're going to the Crown if they don't get in. I think they're going to the Crown.
Oof. Man. Oh, UC Irving. Let's do a little digging.
I would love to see UC Irvine get in.
Well,
but I think they're NIT, unfortunately, in my opinion. But we'll see what the committee thinks.
That would suck. Well, they did lose to UC San Diego
in the championship. Yeah.
Well, they did get their first win again. They did beat them first time they played on January 11th. So that's pretty good. Oh God, like all their non-con wins, they're not exactly that.
Yeah, they're not turning any heads.
Yikes! This is terrible. Ew. Let's see. Well, we did a little digging. Let's do a little digging on Boise for a bit. Like you said, Colorado State might have stolen their bid.
Yeah.
Oh, their win against Clemson. Boise's got a win against Clemson. Why did I forget about that? Like November 17th, when no one was watching it on CBS Sports Network. And their win against St. Mary's. That can age like fine wine from December 14th. Yeah, Boise's got some wins. Oh man. Well, I'm guessing we're still kind of waiting for Selection Sunday to come on for a little bit.
Do we want to talk about Neptune getting canned?
Absolutely. He's a bit like, and his salary is more than yours. Can his ass?
I mean, I thought he might get one more. There was actually part of me that thought maybe he would get one more year, but it's not happening.
No. It's like Villanova's spoiled by natties. Well, and there's like this little thing from CBS Sports written by Isaac Trotter. Shout out to him, where he's got a list for coaching candidates. Let's check and see it for a bit.
Oh, he's going to have Ryan Odom on there first, isn't he? Oh, Chris Collins.
Yep. I mean, he got Northwestern to March Madness bid, so maybe he can get some wins for Nova. Oh, he's got Ryan Odom second.
Yeah, I knew it, man.
Everybody wants Ryan Odom.
My gosh.
I mean,
sad. So sad.
Get away, Culvers.
Porter, I don't know if Porter Moser is the. I don't know about him. Is the Selection Sunday on for you, Jackson?
Not yet. At least not
Okay. Porter Moser. I think his stock has dropped a bit.
I love my job.
Oh, get away, Ed. Anyway, I don't know. Like maybe Porter Moser is similar to Shaka Smart.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
Shaka couldn't win at a football program, but he's winning at basketball only programs like Marquette and VCU.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're seeing that with Porter Moser.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh, Richard Pitino.
Richard.
Well, he is winning at New Mexico, so it's working out.
Yeah.
Ben McCollum.
He's everywhere now, man. Like everyone wants Ben McCollum now.
Indiana and Iowa want him. Everybody does.
Mitch Henderson. I mean, that's not a far car ride to move your stuff from Princeton to Villanova.
No. Good point. He did leave Princeton to Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
But Will Wade, they say he's going to go.
Willie, yeah.
Oh yeah. Things seem to be working out for him.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm hearing he's going to NC State. That's what I've heard.
I wonder if that's going to happen though.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, oh man, so this link from North Carolina State on Sports Illustrated from Matt Giles says that they're down to 2 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's down to Gainey and Wade. Justin Gainey.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. The South Reach is beginning. Here we go. Auburn St. Francis. Okay, North Carolina's in. They're saying North Carolina's in.
Oh no.
Yeah, of course. NC. North Carolina priority above everybody. I feel like they're in because everybody feels it's like Dickie V loves Duke, North Carolina, so I think they want to keep Dick Vitale happy. Auburn's the #1 overall seed.
Oh, they're still #1. I thought they might drop to #2.
Louisville, Creighton are in the South region. Okay, so Michigan. Come on. Oh, they're playing UCSD.
Michigan is?
Yep.
Oh, that could be an upset for sure.
Don't tell that to TJ and John. They're going to be like, no. Oh man. Oh, Texas A&M's the 4 seed.
Oh,
They're gonna play Yale.
who's Auburn going to play? Are they going to play at Mount St. Mary's possibly?
Uh, they're not really saying. Hold on. Some 16 seed, but
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I hate Yale. A&M could get upset by Yale. That's a possible one.
Oh, Ole Miss is the 6 seed.
I have it up on Chat Sports.
Oh, that's where I've got it on as well. Well, we know A&M's dancing. Creighton's dancing.
San Diego State and Carolina in the play-in. Oh, good old-fashioned Mountain West ACC challenge. That game, I have a feeling, Jackson, that game's going to be better than Virginia Colorado State from last year. You remember that?
Oh man, like oh my god, Virginia, that was so terrible.
It was so bad. Yeah.
Oh man, it was worse than mid. That game was hell. It's like I know that we've sinned, but did we sin that bad?
Oh, Marquette, New Mexico is going to be a fun one.
Oh man. Oh,
Michigan State is the 2.
I feel like Michigan State's going to be that Final Four team from the South region. Good God. 62-42. What kind of game was that last year? Yuck. Ugh.
Man, UC San Diego. Oh man, UC San Diego against Michigan is going to be a great 5-12 game.
Oh yeah.
And New Mexico, this is a fun South region. Marquette, New Mexico is going to be great. Who's Creighton playing again in the 8-9?
Louisville,
and then
Ole Miss gonna play the winner of San Diego State, North Carolina. Oh my god! Reddit college football is saying North Carolina may be 1-12 against Q1 teams, but their ratings gold, so they're in. Yeah, doy. I mean, they're like everybody's darling. God. Oh man. Okay, so every first four winner, it's set for 2022, has advanced at least once. No, my mistake. No, 2019. I got that wrong. My bad. 20, yeah, 20. Yeah. Yeah, because we got to remember, like, VCU in the first first four.
Yeah.
Final Four.
Final Four.
South Florida 2012. Round of 32 against Ohio. LaSalle, Sweet 16, 2013. Tennessee, 2014. They went to the Sweet 16. Kwanzaa Martin bells the cow.
Yeah, the cow.
2015, Dayton goes to the round
Dayton
of 30.
goes to did they go to Elite Eight that year or no? No, not that year, right?
That was 2014.
Yeah.
2016, Wichita State went to the round of 32.
Mhm.
2017, USC went to the round of 32. 2018, Syracuse went to the Sweet 16. 2019, nobody advanced. 2021, UCLA went from first four to final four.
Oh, they did it too. Yeah, they almost made it to the championship game too. Man, they're close.
Yep. 2022, your boys beat my Crimson Tide after they won against Rutgers in double overtime, but lost to Texas Tech. 2023 was Fairline Dickinson and Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh man.
last year was Colorado, where they beat Florida 102 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can't wait for the next region. I want the next region, man. I want it now.
I know. It's my region, and I want it now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we don't care about the sub count of chat scores. We just want.
Yeah, no one cares about that. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't like. I'm not subscribed. I would unsubscribe now to freaking stop showing your sub count.
Exactly. What is that they're drinking? Like, oh god, looks like some weird cup. Okay. Bring out the Nets region. Bring it out. Bring
Bring
it
it
out.
out, CBS.
Come on, boys. Come on, get it all out. Oh, that's right. Tobin Anderson's at Iona.
Yeah. Came up short to my parents' alma mater.
Oof. God, they lost in the title to Mount St. Mary.
Mount St. Mary's, the oldest Catholic institution in the country.
Oh, there we go. Nets region's out. Duke.
All right, Duke. Yeah, of course, Duke's the two. They're gonna be the one or the two.
Come on. Out with it. Out with it, nervous dude, the polo. Oh man. Okay, Friday in Raleigh.
American and Mount St. Mary's. That those schools aren't that far away from each other, which is funny. Americans in DC and
Oh, Mississippi State Baylor.
Baylor. Oh, that's a good 8-9. Oh, baby. Let's go. Scott Drew versus Chris Jans. Let's go.
Oregon. Oh man, they're gonna play Liberty. Fiesta Bowl rematch in college
Oh my
basketball.
gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh my.
Arizona. High Point.
Are you gonna choke in March this year, or are you actually gonna make a big run?
Yeah, we're actually gonna make a run.
Oh, they're gonna play Akron.
They might rematch Duke. They already played. If they win. I feel like the 8 and the 9s are a bit tougher. Oh, BYU. Oh, could be VCU. Could be VCU.
Fingers crossed.
Bring it on, Mormon. Bring it on.
Yes!
Bring it on. Bring it
Commonwealth
on.
versus the Mormons.
Bring it on. Oh, remember last time they played an A-10 team?
Oh man, what happened there?
They lost to Duquesne in last year's NCAA tournament.
That's right. Wisconsin for the 3. VCU. Oh, they're gonna play Montana. Wisconsin.
Oh, I can play Wisconsin in the next round.
That's fine by me. BC. The Immaculate St. Mary's at 7. Oh, Vanderbilt's 10.
St. Mary's Vanderbilt. I think St. Mary's will win, but
Oh, Alabama.
There's your Crimson Tide in Duke's bracket.
Oh God, no. We gotta deal with Duke. But we could have a conference rematch at the round of 32. Robert Morris. Okay, this will be fun. Well, Arizona tends to choke in March.
I kind of hate we're playing them in Denver, though.
Oh, man.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, man. I feel like VCU can make March magic again with Ryan Odom. Alabama, Vanderbilt, possibly in round of 32.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, like Matt Zemek, our guy at Trojans Wire, is saying Oregon, Arizona could be a matchup in the round of 32, which that would be pretty cool, but Arizona's gonna quit somehow. I wonder which region Tennessee's going to be in next.
Mm-hmm. They probably won't be in Florida's region, right? Or they could be.
Oh, yeah. Go. There we go. Well, we're waiting it out for the Nets region to come out. There we go.
Everyone's saying Duke got an easy draw.
Of course they did. They're Duke. Everybody's loving on Cooper Flag. I heard somebody on the ACC network last night was saying that he's like Steph Curry. I'm like, what? I don't remember Cooper Flag being on the Cinderella team. Barstool Sports saying an Alabama-Wisconsin Sweet 16 matchup would beat Barstool families.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I wonder when we're going to play. I hope not late.
Oh, God. Mm. Oh, Alabama's playing on a Friday. So,
do you think that Indiana's going to get off the schneid, or do you think they'll have to play in Dayton?
Oh, they'll probably have to play in Dayton.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a blue blood, you're in, kid. And everybody's obsessed with the 80s. So I think that's what's gonna help them is like some of these committee members are obsessed with the '80s, the basketballs in Tennessee. Oh, jeez.
Someone said Ralph D. Russo said that Mississippi State Baylor feels like a Liberty Bowl.
Oh god. That's funny. Oregon making a run. Yeah, of course they will because they're Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, South region. Yeah. Show us the Nets. Oh man. Yeah, it's like some of these people are saying Bama, Wisconsin. It's like, yeah, I'm not so sure that would automatically happen. Because like you could have Alabama VCU or like St. Mary's, Wisconsin or Vandy. You never know because like it's March Madness. So some of these people tend to forget not everything's automatic in March.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go, Midwest region. Oh, let's see, Houston. Houston, the famous choke artist in March Madness. I swear, I'm gonna laugh if Tennessee's in the same region as Houston.
Oh man.
I think Florida's the last one seed. Oh, Gonzaga's the 8 seed.
Ooh.
Oh, Gonzaga, Georgia. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Bulldog versus Bulldogs. The Florida Gators are the SEC champs. Congratulations, Bing.
Thanks, Florida.
Bing. Oh, Clemson's the 5 seed. Oh my god. It's 12 seed, 12 seed. Midi State.
Wait, oh, I got to put it on.
Purdue is the 4 seed. High Point's the 13th seed.
Oh, High Point, Purdue offset.
Oh the
Maybe
Midwest
for High Point, one of them. I think one of them will win. Oh man.
Oh. The Midwest region is so full of choke artists.
Yeah.
Who's gonna choke the least?
Like, we could see a High Point McNeese second round.
Illinois the 6th seed.
This region's off the grab, man.
Oh my god.
Texas, Xavier United. Oh no, Indiana. Oh no, Indiana. Oh no, Indiana. Oh, Indiana's not gonna get in. Indiana's not gonna get in. Oh no, Indiana.
I guess the committee's not that obsessed with the 80s. Kentucky's the 3 seed.
Oh, Jeffrey, no, Jeffrey. Oh, Xavier got in. Oh, Indiana's looking grim. It's looking grim for Indiana. How did Texas and Xavier get in?
They lobbied
Oh
hard
my God.
enough, is
How
what
did
happened.
Texas get in? How did Texas get in?
They lobbied hard enough. Oh, UCLA 7 seed. Oh, Utah State. Oh man. Tennessee is the 2 seed. It wouldn't be a choke artist region without Tennessee.
Oh my
Tennessee
God, this
swallows.
region's
That's what
nuts.
they're good for in March. So we got Tennessee, Houston, Purdue, Kentucky, Illinois, UCLA. Oh man, who did I miss? Clemson, Purdue. I got Purdue right.
Yeah, Purdue's in there.
Okay. Gonzaga. Oh man, they all. Oh my god, this. They should rename it the choke artist region. Whoever chokes the least is in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
That this is too funny. Oh man.
Everyone says NC State fans are gonna root for McNeese so hard as they're going up against Clemson.
That'd be funny. From Elite Eight to losing to McNeese State. That would be funny. Oh man, Tennessee, Kentucky being the elite.
Oh my gosh, Dan, Xavier fan Dan's pretty happy.
Of course. Yeah.
He's laughing. There's Xavier. I can't believe Xavier got in. And Texas got in. Indiana's not going to get in. Indiana's not going to get in.
You're not in Indiana. Is Indiana opting in or opting out of the
out of the
NIT?
crown. Are they in or out of the crown?
It's a good question. Are they gonna do the milkshake dance because they're out? Oh, we got one more region to go.
Oh my gosh, I don't think Indiana's getting in.
Nope.
And I think San Diego State's gonna get in.
Oh man, Indiana lost their shaker of salt. Oh my god, this is gonna be too funny. Oh man.
Indiana, it's looking grim right now for Jeffrey. We need a Jeffrey check.
Oh man. Come on. Oh, we have Jason O in the chat, man, tuning in.
Jason, what do you think of we're missing that we don't think Indiana's getting in, and our boy Jeffrey's got to be hurting right now.
Nope. He's like, you guys cry. What I miss? Nah, we're just laughing our butts off. This is just too funny. Yeah, get out from the sub count for a moment, Chat Sports. Come on, Chat Sports. Go to the last region. Yeah, I don't care what you're drinking there, boys. Come on.
Everyone's saying Gonzaga's Sweet 16 streak is dead.
Well, it's not dead yet.
Indiana is not going to get in. This is insane.
Jason says he hasn't been watching the selections. He has to get caught up. Well, we got our last one seed, the West region, the Florida Gators.
Gonzaga Houston's going to be fun, but I think Houston might put them on them. Norfolk State, the last 16 seed.
There we go. And we got the call-in link in the chat for when we're done going over. Oh, you called Oklahoma's the 8-9 game.
Oh, okay, I got to get caught up.
Two-time defending national champs. Matt Zevin says Oklahoma got a 9 seed. Number 5, Memphis. Memphis, Colorado State. Who's the 4 seed? Who's the 4 seed? Oh, Maryland.
Maryland Memphis will be fun if they both win.
Or it could be Maryland, Colorado State.
Yeah, very well could be.
Oh, green.
Grand Canyon? Yeah. All right, here we go. Who's the last team in? Who is
Missouri versus who exactly? Oh, they got great.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Number 3 is Texas Tech. Wait, is Kansas getting left out?
West Virginia might get left out. No, Kansas is going to be the 7 seed.
Oh, okay. Oh, who are they playing?
UNC Wilmington.
Okay, Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington, Kansas is going to play.
So, San Diego State, right? Or is it going to be West Virginia? Yeah, it has to be San Diego State.
It's got to be.
Or San Diego State going to be left out? Arkansas.
Arkansas.
San Diego State and no Indiana.
Liberty Bowl rematch in the West region.
I can't believe San Diego State's out.
It's like people don't even care about the West Coast. Like, what do they do? Deserve to be left out.
Oh, we need Jeffrey on immediately.
I know, right? Oh, St. John's is the 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would be cool? A Kansas-Missouri rematch in the Sweet 16. That would be extremely awesome.
Oh, Jeffrey from Only Talk Sport. Moose, you have a tough matchup in round 1. Like, you should win, but UC San Diego is a good team. You should win, though. You should win. But like I think it'll be a close game. I'm rooting for St. John's too, Jason.
That would be cool.
I want to see St. John's make a Final Four, but they got to play Florida in the Elite Eight, probably.
Oh yeah. I heard some people saying that we could see a Rick Pitino John Calipari matchup in the round of 32, but matchup's not played yet. Well, that makes a ton of sense. North Carolina's athletic director is the chair of the selection committee. That is so wrong. Oh my God.
No, Jeff has to be crushed. We need Jeffrey on here.
We need some we gotta get West Virginia.
How did Texas get in over San Diego State?
West Virginia got screwed as well.
West Virginia got screwed too.
Man. Oof.
So the only SEC teams that miss are South Carolina and LSU.
Oh yeah. LS who? Yeah, get out of here, LSU. Good Lord.
Dave, how did San Diego State not get in? My goodness, they beat Creighton and they beat.
Well, here's why, Dave. The North Carolina athletic director is the chairman of the selection committee. He was not leaving them out. God.
It's looking at Twitter
There we go. Oh man. Let's see who's on the selection committee for March Madness.
now. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Okay, so let's take a look at this for a moment. Oh, of course, Bubba Cunningham, the chairman of the committee.
Rocco Miller is now. The Field of 68 people are not happy about this.
Who?
The Field of 68 people are not happy about this, man. They're thinking it's awful that
Oh man. Mark Coyle, Greg Byrne.
Oh, we have to look at all the. Well, who's that? Oh, who's that Indiana guy that I watch?
Oof. Indiana guy, like where's he? What channel's he on?
Ken Sterling is live. He is live. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh, we have to react to this. We have to put this on.
Oh, here we go.
All right, can I share? Where's that?
11 seeded against 11 seed play-ins. We got North Carolina against San Diego State. We've got Texas against Xavier. That blocks Indiana. There isn't going to be another 11 seed play-in, and unless Indiana somehow, some way, is the 10th seed in the West, it's over. and they're not going to go to the NCAA tournament again for the second straight year, not playing in the tournament, despite having all that talent, spending all that money on NIL. They played better down the stretch in the regular season, had a real stinker of a game against Oregon in that Thursday game in the Big Ten tournament. But you know what? I mean, that's what happens. People are going to bitch and moan about this. People are going to be really upset about this. You know what? Indiana could have taken care of business. Indiana had it in their power to get this thing done, and they didn't do it. This is on Indiana basketball. This is not on the selection committee. Indiana did not make a strong enough case that they belong in the NCAA tournament. So now our attention kind of turns, although I think we know what the answer is. Are they going to play in that new tournament? Are they going to play in the NIT? Would they accept a bid to that? I don't think that they would. I don't think that would be, what kind of a consolation would that be? Unless they just wanted to be really punitive about Mike Woodson and say, no, you're not done yet. You're going to have to coach your team in the NIT. Mike Woodson, a member of the last team from Indiana to win the NIT. That was in 1979. They beat Purdue. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bob Knight gave, let's see who the other 11 seed is before I completely lose my mind, but I can't believe it's Indiana. See if Missouri going to play? I'd love to play Missouri if Indiana could play Missouri. I'll have to scrub this video because I've kind of gone out on a limb here. Drake is the other 11 seed. So unless Indiana somehow is slid up to the 10 seed, which will be revealed in just a couple of minutes, nope. We'll have to wait another year to see Indiana playing an event that it was their birthright to be a part of, minus, what was it, 1985, right? 85 and then back to 1979. Indiana played in the NCAA tournament, I think, every year from 1980 to 2000. And not so much anymore. That's kind of where Indiana is in the hierarchy of basketball programs nationally. And that's a shame that it slid this far. That means since they went in 2016, they've only gone twice more, and that's in 9 years. That's 2 trips to the NCAA. Arkansas is the 10 seed that's going to Providence and playing Kansas, and that's kind of where Jerry Palm had. He got Kansas 100% right, but that's where Jerry Palm had Indiana as the 10 seed going up against Kansas until that loss against Oregon in that Thursday game. That's a shame, right? Five Dusty Banners says this Woodson-led team didn't have the will to win or the will to prepare to win. They didn't even have the will to compete most nights. Wisconsin at 3, Michigan at 5. I think that's kind of screwy. I picked Michigan to win the Big Ten tournament. I love Michigan because I love Danny Wolf. I voted for him for player of the tournament. So, because I was credentialed, you get to vote in that. I absolutely voted for him. I think he's the guy that makes that whole thing run. I think he's terrific. From Glencoe, Illinois, went to Yale his first couple of years. Now he's at Michigan getting things done. And he was the guy that, in looking at transfers that might go to Indiana, didn't really look at Umar Ballo all that closely. But I was looking at Danny Wolf, and I loved the way he played at Yale. And the way he played at Michigan absolutely turned that thing around for Dusty May.
Oh, here we go. We got our first caller today, Will.
We got our tournament.
It's the one and only himself, the real MVP.
The real MVP. What do you think about so you have to be thrilled as an SEC fan that Texas got in.
So I'm feeling good, guys. I'm feeling good. I was expecting 14 SEC teams to be in because they were clearly by far the best conference. But, oh, boy, there's some controversy in this bracket, gentlemen.
How did Xavier get in? It just makes no sense.
No, that makes more sense than North Carolina. How did Carolina get in? They're worse than Xavier.
It's very simple, Darrell. So we looked over the committee, and guess who's the chairman of the NCAA tournament committee? Bubba Cunningham, the North Carolina athletic director.
I mean, I guess, but I didn't even think they said on TV he left the room during all those conversations, and I have no reason to disagree with him. I feel bad for West Virginia and Indiana
Yeah.
I had them in and Xavier and North Carolina out. Is Only Talk Sports doing well? Have you guys done a wellness
Well, I
check on
got
him?
him. I'll call him again. I wanted to talk to him before the tournament.
Oh, you can talk to him all you want. I guess the next tournament for
Well,
him
I
is gonna
said
be
before. I
in
said
SEC.
before the selection. I'm calling him again.
And there were some shocking, like some small things in there that didn't make sense to me. Like it was pointed, I was listening to some of it on the radio. Louisville's an 8 seed. They're playing in the Lexington regional. That's a brutal draw for Auburn. Auburn's going to have to play basically a road game in their second round.
And Auburn has not been playing their best.
Yeah, I know, but they've clearly earned the number 1 overall
Yeah,
seed. And I think if you're the number 1 overall seed, you should at least get preferential treatment on where you're playing. Like, that's tough. Anything stuck out to you, gentlemen, about the bracket that was like
Gonzaga as an 8 seemed pretty harsh to them.
The choke region that's what's really
I
reaching
think
out.
Houston. I mean, I think Houston should win that region pretty easily.
If they don't choke first,
Houston should be fine. I'm looking at it. I mean, Gonzaga is an 8 matchup. I mean, the 8 seeds this year are ridiculously strong. With Gonzaga and UConn both being 8 seeds, I mean, those are teams that could easily make the Sweet 16 if they were a 6 or 5. I mean, they've got the talent, they got the coaching and the depth to do it, and the metrics support them as stronger than an 8 seed. I understand the results don't, but man, if they get hot at the right time, they can do some serious damage.
let's see. Oh, there we go. The Midwest region. There it is. The choke region.
What do you think about everyone saying Colorado State's going to beat Memphis? And I just can't disagree with
No,
them.
I can't see that. The 5-12 matchup I love is the Clemson McNeese matchup. McNeese is, you laugh, Jackson, but they almost beat Alabama at the beginning of the season. Like they gave Alabama a better game
Wow.
than 90% of SEC competition.
Well, I'm not laughing at McNeese State. I'm laughing at Clemson.
Oh yeah, see, and this doesn't make sense to me. You have Clemson as a 5, you've got Louisville's an 8, and Duke's a 1. So you're telling us through that logic, the ACC is less valuable. But then you put North Carolina in. It
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, they're playing San Diego State. I saw some San Diego
Oh, San Diego
State.
State did get in. Oh, I said they didn't get. Okay, but I sound like a dummy.
No, you're fine. They got in as the first 4 against Dayton. What do you guys? Let me ask you. I know it's a lot to process on, and we got plenty of days to talk about it. But some of these,
so I can look at them.
yeah, I know. I've been looking too. They put it on their Twitter, March Madness's Twitter. They pull up the entire bracket.
Yeah, I just retweeted from it.
Yeah.
I'm liking the. What about the potential Arkansas St. John's matchup? We can get a John Calipari, Rick Pitino matchup.
I mean that. I want to see St. John's do well because they've just been poverty like my whole life. But that's a tough second round matchup. I think Kansas is definitely losing to Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't see Kansas. If they were playing like anybody that's a 12 or above, I would have Kansas losing. I think they're worse than Drake. I think they're worse than McNeese. Yeah. They've had the wheels completely fallen off though. I mean, I saw Arizona completely, and I know Arizona's a great team, but Kansas didn't look like they put up any fight at all against Arizona. It just looked like they were going through the motions from what I saw, and that's not good. Something that does surprise me though, in the Big East is Marquette is a 7 seed. I didn't think Marquette was even in the 7 seed conversation. Do you all know how they ended up in a 7 seed?
How Marquette ended up as a 7 seed?
Yeah.
I feel like the committee was getting a little lazy. I think that's why.
I mean, they had a pretty strong non-conference.
Yeah, I know. It just felt like from the discussions I saw, they weren't even projected to be that low. Like, I think from what I've taken away from this selection show is the floor for some of these teams needs to be extended. because some of these teams I just like, oh, that's how does that make sense? So that makes sense. Like Michigan's another one, for example. I don't know how they're a 5. They just won the Big Ten tournament. Wisconsin,
I felt like people said that the committee got lazy and just didn't move the Big Ten teams like before. They had them set before the tournament.
I know,
Before the
and
championship game.
I know, and that's a common talking point. But man, if you're a Michigan fan, you win the Big Ten today, and you pull UC San Diego as your 12th seed. That's
Yeah.
another one of those 5-12s, man. That 12th seed, I'm not sure how much UC San Diego you saw. They're good. They're a legit
good.
basketball team.
Yeah.
They can make a run to the Sweet 16. I mean, they're just that good. Let me ask, do you have, what are your thoughts when you saw the bracket release? Did you have any big takeaways or anything?
There's just some games I'm excited to watch. I mean, Louisville Crane, I feel like it's going to be fun. There's Marquette, New Mexico. I think is a great 7-10. I mean, my team VCU taking on BYU.
That'll be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, it's not the easiest matchup, and then we have to go to Denver, which is a home court, definitely home court for them. And then just looking at Drake, to see what the mid majors would get. Drake, Missouri will be fun.
Yeah, it's another road game though for Drake because it's in Kansas.
Well, and something I was just looking at is the first 4. And with the exception of 2019, there's been...
That is absolutely home court advantage for Xavier and Dayton.
Yeah.
That's a 45-minute drive, I believe, from Cincinnati. Dayton is. So, I mean, I know Texas will probably travel well, but there will be a lot of Xavier fans in UD.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the first 4 games. We got Texas at Xavier, American Mount St. Mary's, Alabama State St. Francis, and we got San Diego State, North Carolina. Out of all the games for the first 4 that are listed, who is the most likely to advance to, like, say, a Sweet 16 or more?
I gotta see which teams are playing which teams in the first 4. Like, who's Ole Miss playing and who's
Ole Miss is playing the winner, San Diego State, North Carolina.
I mean, I feel like Texas Xavier winner will be Illinois. Illinois is not playing their best basketball.
Yeah, I like Texas as the best team out of the 12. The 16 seeds are completely irrelevant to this conversation. None of them are going to the Sweet 16, barring an absolute miracle. So we can toss them out. I like Texas as the best of the first 4 teams. I don't even know how they were really, like, people were arguing for them out. I'm like, they've got 7 or 8 quad 1 wins. I'm sorry, but if you got that many quad 1 wins, I mean, you're comparing against teams with 1 or no quad 1 wins. It didn't make sense to me. So they've shown at the top they're capable of beating these quad 1 teams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got you. But guys, I told everybody that 14 SEC teams were going to be in the bracket. I've been saying this all season that, hey, we're going to have it. And the result that convinced me it's going to happen was that Oklahoma-Texas game. I thought if Texas would have beaten Oklahoma, I thought Oklahoma would have been out. But the committee must love Oklahoma. Why do you think committee put Oklahoma as a non-seed? Because I thought they were more fringe of a bubble team than like Arkansas was.
Yeah.
But the committee says, hey, they're safely in. That was surprising to me.
Yeah.
I guess they really value their non-conference wins.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I was going to ask you all this as well. How do you think Kuz is doing right now? Because West Virginia, they weren't even on the bubble. They weren't even in bubble conversations, and now they're completely out.
He's probably not too happy.
Not happy at all. Kuz and Mountaineer Paul are not happy.
Like,
No.
Was that a surprise? Like, nobody even discussed them for the bubble. Did you all see anybody say, hey, watch out for West Virginia? Did you see any of that?
No, not in Field of 68.
Right. That is shocking to me to see them left out. I mean, they did decent in non-conference play. They beat Gonzaga as well. I know that. Did they beat Arizona or did they lose to Arizona?
They beat Arizona once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they beat Arizona in the tournament. They beat Gonzaga. I mean, those are some high-quality wins for them. And they were finished 19-13. I'm surprised that team got left out over some of these other teams. But,
So first four out: West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State.
What's surprising to me is how far Boise State's down that rung. I thought they would have been the first or second team left out.
Well,
And Ohio, I don't.
They got humiliated in the title game. That might have.
I understand that, but if they beat New Mexico, who's a pretty solid team,
Yeah.
and they have significantly less losses, I don't understand this love. Maybe, Will, you can help me. This obsession with Ohio State. Why do people like a team that lost 15 games? Can you explain this to me?
Oh, I felt like that Ohio State Indiana game was definitely an elimination game, and Indiana.
Yeah,
won.
it was.
I'm with you, Drill.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, Ohio State's playing an elimination game, they lose, and yet they're still on the bubble and they're playing another elimination game. It's surprising to me. Jackson, what do you think about Bama's draw?
I hope we play VCU or St. Mary's, but I mean, it would be fun to see Alabama Vanderbilt, but I just want to get through the round of 64 first. I hope we make it to a Final Four, but I'm not seeing it.
Pretty strong. It depends if Duke's got flag or not, I think. But you're looking at your regional overall, I don't see who, if you're all clicking on all cylinders, who can challenge you all with just keeping up with your score. Because that's the way Florida's been you. They've just been able to outscore you. None of these teams in the regional, except maybe BYU in the Sweet 16, I think, can outscore you until the Elite Eight. So I really like the draw you got. I know you're worried about Robert Morris, and you should be, because, my Kentucky team lost to them a few years ago in the NIT. But I think you all will be fine. That's just my personal thoughts.
Well, I would love to see Alabama make the Final Four again. That would be cool. I mean, I'm not expecting national title because, I mean, it's like I'm happy to see Alabama basketball get in the Final Four. It's like that's not expected like from 20 years ago, but now it's just like, wow, it's a reality. Like Nate Oates at Alabama has just been kind of like Billy Donovan for Florida. He's just making that magic all over the place.
I got you. Yeah, I'm happy to see Florida as a 1 seed. They deserved a 1 seed by them just dominating the SEC tournament. Do you think the winner of the Tennessee-Florida game was going to be the 1 seed? Do you think that was a last-minute change they made?
Yeah. But I really don't care about the 1 seed because, for me, if you're a 1 seed, cool, but that doesn't automatically mean your team's going to win at all. Because, for those that don't remember, Alabama last year was a 4 seed, I believe. We didn't need to be a top seed to get in the Final Four. I mean, we defeated number 1 seed North Carolina in the Sweet 16. That was huge in of itself. And, when we were a 1 or 2 seed in March Madness, it usually hasn't worked out so well.
I understand. As a Kentucky fan, you don't need to tell me how it is to getting through those first or second games. I've had plenty of scars over the last 5 years of Kentucky not making it, being the
wait. So what do you
steps
think about potentially playing Tennessee in the Sweet 16?
I like it because we've already beaten them twice. I mean, we can beat them a third time. I mean, both games I saw Kentucky play Tennessee, I thought Kentucky's clearly the better team. And there was no point during either of those games I thought, oh man, maybe Tennessee can come up and beat us. No, it was just Kentucky start to finish dominating.
Tennessee will choke in March again. You'll wait and see that, I can guarantee. And we have another caller on the line. He is a future broadcaster in the making, and he is the co-star of Sorgi Stories, the one and only himself, Anthony Sorgi. How you doing today?
Everyone? How we doing?
I'm excited about New Mexico Marquette. That should be so much fun.
I mean, I looked at that and I'm like, okay. And then I saw we'd be playing Michigan State second round. And as my dad said to me a minute ago, we're dead. As an understatement, because Michigan State is a team that almost never loses in the second game of a weekend. And they're a team that beat Marquette in the round of 32 2 years ago when the roles
Are you
were
worried
reversed.
about Rick telling his son, who's the coach of New Mexico, strategy about Marquette? Are you worried about that?
I think we can handle business against New Mexico. I think whatever Rick Pitino can try to do to stop us, very simply, we're very balanced, both offensively and defensively. When you look at this team, they're just outside of that top 40 offensively, top 25 defensively criteria that you look at when you're trying to pick your champ. Marquette currently, if I can grab it, 32 in offense, 28 in defense, 28th in the country in the KenPom rankings. This is a squad that in the South, I mean, there are a lot of teams that when I look at the Southern region, whether it be a squad like Michigan, whether it be a squad like Texas A&M, possibly Ole Miss and Marquette, there are a lot of these single-seeded teams that could possibly make a run. It's not going to be easy, but they've got a shot.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about your mom's alma mater getting left
Not
out?
alma mater, but very big fan.
Oh, sorry.
In West Virginia, let's just say that I'm very disappointed in the committee, because West Virginia, as I pull it up here, sits with how many quad one wins? They sit with 6. North Carolina has 1 on the season. It's very simply as the point guard at St. Joe's Prep, the squad I'm rocking right now, said in my Instagram comment section, he said, it's blue blood bias. It's that simple.
And there's one other thing, too. Bubba Cunningham is the chairman of the committee.
Yeah. UNC's always going to get that extra edge. Should they?
No.
But they do.
But luckily, it's the last year where he's in the committee. So he's out
Yeah.
after this year.
I'm surprised Xavier also got selected over West Virginia.
It surprises me, although what I'll say is that watching Xavier play against Marquette a couple days ago, they impressed me.
Yeah, they're good. They just don't
They're
have the
good.
quad one results that West Virginia does.
Exactly. That's the issue with Xavier. But as a squad, they're not bad. They just don't have as many quad one wins, which is obviously an issue.
Yeah, now they get a glorified home game in the first 4 matchup.
Exactly. I want to say, Will, there's one lower seed that I have circled about 5 times in my bracket, and it's VCU.
You think we beat them? We think we're going to beat the Mormons?
I have you circled a whole lot in that first round, and
I'm just worried because it's a road game. Like,
yeah,
that's the one thing that makes me disappointed. But I think we can do it.
yeah. I mean, you guys are my sleeper to get to the second weekend right now. I mean, like Wisconsin's a tough matchup, but I think that VCU's a really solid squad. Again, it's all about being balanced offense defense.
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't matter, but they passed the eye test. If just watching them play, they just look like a team that can compete against Power 5 competition. I remember them playing George Mason the second time and them just completely dominating them in the second half. And I thought, oh man, this team can make some noise in March. Like they're playing as good as most. They would be probably at least worst 4th in the ACC if they were to compete in the ACC.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't know. You were talking about a Cinderella. You were circling. I'm liking a potential 12-13 McNeese High Point matchup.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Let's go, Wade.
I'll say this, like when I was crunching the numbers earlier on all of the March Madness results since COVID, one thing like was clear to me, and it's that like if you're just going off math, and obviously the eye test can change this because if you see a team that you think is better or worse, then you should probably go with that. But like realistically, it makes sense to pick a 10, a 12, a 13, and even pick 2 9s and like 2 9s and 2 11s. Because I mean, when you look at a 9 seed and 11 seed, they're 9 and 7 since 2021. And like they're gonna almost always have gotten in the last few years 2 wins. So I mean, I would expect at least 1 double-digit seed to get to the second weekend, if not 2. VCU's my first. I don't know who my second is, but yeah.
What are your thoughts on the first 4? Because usually they make some damage. They either make the Sweet 16 or they take a game. I'm looking at Texas as clearly the best team in the first four. I know they've got a tough matchup if they were to win their first four game against Illinois, but Texas to me is that team that can make a run because they've already beaten Kentucky earlier in the year, so they've proven they can do it.
Oh, something about I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling Xavier's winning that game. I don't know why, but
That's fair. That's fair.
like I mean, I don't know if it's efficiency. I don't know. Like they don't have the quad one wins as we said. I don't know if it's just that I think like they're very even matchups when you look at efficiency, and how they match up like that against each other. I think UNC is going to beat SDSU. Good game, but UNC. I mean, my issue with SDSU is that they don't have they have the 111th offense in the country.
They're always been defensive driven.
And yeah, they have a top 15 defense, but it's like, is that going to be able to carry them? That's the question. Is will that be able to carry them all the way past UNC and into the second weekend if they can get wins over Ole Miss and probably Iowa State?
Yeah, Iowa State's they're a really good team.
Absolutely.
Iowa State's a tough team to get past, regardless where you're at.
Oh,
I was going to ask you.
Sean is hurt though, right? He's out. I heard someone was out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that. I was going to ask you, Anthony Sorgi. I was going to ask you. A lot of people are talking about Louisville as the 8th seed and how Auburn got completely screwed because Auburn's going to have to play a road game basically in the second round. Do you think that's fair to them?
Where else would you put them in the first round, realistically? That's my response question.
Well, I would have moved Louisville above an 8th seed. I think they're better than an 8th.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. I think considering they got to the ACC title, you could.
They only have one bad loss all season too in Georgia Tech on the road. Every other team they lost to is a ranked team.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like they would have probably. See, obviously none of us were in the room, so we don't know where these teams were actually number seeded 1 through 68. Auburn Louisville could be something like. I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be a home game for Louisville. The one home game I'm surprised that didn't happen is I really thought Wisconsin was going to be in Milwaukee. I expected that, and that did not happen. Which I don't remember who's playing in Milwaukee.
Illinois and
Illinois
Kentucky
is playing there. Yeah, so that's obviously home court for them. Champaign to Milwaukee, probably 4 or 5-ish hours if I had to guess. So for Illinois, I mean, I'll be honest. I like Illinois in that group of 4. I like Illinois over any other team there. I like them over Kentucky. I like them over Troy. I like them over either of those playing teams. Again, it's
I liked everything you were saying until you're talking trash about my Kentucky Wildcats. Got to go.
Kentucky's
I know it's fine. Listen, you can't hurt me because we lost to St. Peter's in Oakland, okay? You can't hurt me.
Jack Golke, a forever legend.
Forever nemesis in our parts of the world.
Man, I was producing a podcast. I was sitting in the studio, and my buddies who were on there, they're like, "What's that guy's name?" So I literally had to look up St. Peter's mustache guy, and it pulled up. It showed up with Doug's name. I was like, "Oh, well, there you go." But yeah,
that was sickening.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, crazy for you, heartbreaking and sickening for me. Oh my gosh, that's humiliating. I don't know if Marquette has ever had one of those completely devastating sideways losses, but it's humiliating. It's like the worst experience you can ever have because everyone's just making fun of you at once, and there's no escaping it. It's terrible.
Yeah, it sounds
the most heartbreaking loss I think I've had to deal with was when Marquette got boat raced by UNC in an 8-9 matchup a couple years ago, but UNC I think went on to go to the Final Four that year. If I'm not.
Yeah, they beat Baylor that year, I think.
Yeah. So that was probably the toughest one, but seeding wise, it was probably last year when we lost to NC State.
They made the Final Four too.
They made the Final Four, so I can't be that mad.
Right. DJ Burns was he was built different for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Let's see.
I know you're looking for double-digit seeds. I know they have to go basically on the road, but Drake in that 11-6 matchup against Missouri.
They're going to have to keep the pace low. I know Missouri likes to go fast and Drake likes to go slow, but
Yeah,
they
that's
can
another
control the
matchup I
pace,
saw.
they'll have a chance.
Okay, the Buckeyes are in the crown.
Buckeyes are
And
in-
according to Jeff Rabjohns at 247 Sports, Indiana has no plans to play in the NIT or the crown.
Wow.
I mean,
No.
Wow.
they probably think it's below them since they're Indiana. I'm surprised Indiana didn't get a little bit of that brand bias.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
North Carolina got.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Here we go. Oh man, let's check and see who's in. Yeah, because you would think it's time for the NIT. Or I guess I think it is time. That's right.
We have a lot of metrics. The hardest part of being on the committee is to draw that line. You went Karen Bubba saying that.
Well, 1-12 seems like a pretty good place to draw a line. I don't know about your all's thoughts, but that seems like
Yeah.
a pretty good place for me.
Yeah.
If you're below 10% in any category of relevance, not good.
Yeah.
Go crown tournament.
I know. I saw Iowa is not going to accept it, and I mean they're probably not going to get. Well, they might get invited, but they're not going to accept an invitation. Their program is completely in turmoil, with their coach being ejected and fired and or dismissed. They're one of their best players leaving the portal, so I saw they weren't going to make it. But another game I was going to talk about, since Asorchi's looking for these double digits, is UC San Diego. I don't know how much you've seen of their tournament. I saw them play against UC Irvine. Oh man, they look good. They look really good. They look big and athletic, and I think they can just kind of. It's easier to speed teams up than slow them down, or it's easier to slow them down. And I think if Michigan, for a 5-10 minute stretch, gets sped up to a pace that they're uncomfortable with, I think UC San Diego can pull off the upset.
I can see it. I can see it for sure. It's that difference in play style between.
Oh yeah,
It's all at the end of the day. A champion is going to be able to beat you at your game. That's who's going to win the tournament. Is who's going to be able to play their style of basketball and yours, and be better than you at playing yours. So I would probably, I don't know, like my initial thought was Michigan, considering they just won the Big Ten tournament. They looked not too shabby. Obviously, they looked really good. But I don't know. That's a tough one. But then right next to it is Texas A&M Yale, and Yale's the team that beat Auburn last year.
yeah. And Texas A&M's a team I don't really believe in throughout this entire season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They kind of a one-man team.
Let's see.
I mean, if I'm looking for a 13 to win, I'm probably taking Yale. Immediately, if I had to make a bet.
Yeah, the 13 seeds, I mean, there's some good ones. Grand
High
Canyon.
Point over Purdue.
Yeah, High Point's a good
can
one.
see it.
Grand Canyon.
High Point can score.
Yeah, do you think they'll be able to shut down Braden Smith, though? He's probably the best point guard in the country this year.
Okay,
I mean,
so
they'll have to win in the track meet.
So with the SEC getting in all their teams, they've set the record for most teams a single conference has sent to the NCAA tournament, a record previously held by the Big East, sending 11 teams in 2011.
Well, that we said, the SEC got 14 teams in because they won all their non-conference games. I mean, when you completely dominate everyone in non-conference games, you should get the benefit of the doubt, and your metrics are going to go up because you're just going to be losing to each other. I know it's not pretty to see a 6-12 SEC team get in, but the solution is for some of these other conferences to beat them in non-conference play. That's all they got to do going forward.
True.
I mean, Oklahoma's a terrible team, I thought, and they won their tournament that they were in, for example. So Arkansas, they beat Michigan. That's another example. Arkansas was a terrible SEC team. Go out, they beat the best team in the Big Ten this year in Michigan, who won the Big Ten championship. So can't really blame the committee. I think this is also going to happen going forward because just the conferences have expanded it so much to where just by happenstance, the Big Ten, for example, they've got 18 teams. 9 of them teams are going to be good every year just by happenstance. This year, Oregon happened to have a really good non-conference schedule. Next year, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a USC or a Washington or something like that. One of the new people that comes along and just takes up a spot every year.
Do you think that they should? I feel like they should make the Mountain West and A10, like they should make them be able to play power conference teams more.
That'd be cool.
Well, that's from the. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, as a Big East guy, I'd be very in favor of poaching a couple A10 teams. That's all I got there. Give me Dayton, please. Let's get the conference up to 14 teams.
Maybe if the ACC does implode, we can go back to seeing Syracuse in the Big East.
I would die for the days of Syracuse and Notre. I'm just thinking of the programs like Syracuse and Notre Dame and Louisville and Pitt, West Virginia. I mean, those days of those
are the days I grew up on.
Like those were the days when I was a toddler, barely talking yet. But that's one of the most legendary conferences, and it's probably the most legendary conference in basketball history. Is that 2011 conference that you talked about, Jackson, with 11 bids? When you're looking at Marquette, West Virginia, Syracuse, UConn, St. John's, Louisville, just to name a few teams. Like that's a loaded slate from that conference.
No.
But that would be cool to see VCU in the Big East and Temple in the Big East as well.
Temple's collapsed since they left the A10, sadly.
Yeah. It would be wild, because I feel like if Temple joined the Big East, it would be better for them.
I'd rather have St. Joe's than Temple right now. Very simply. Like I would as someone like I go to school like 3 blocks from Temple, and I hear a lot about Temple sports. Temple is not an athletic program that anyone is high on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where like we've been talking, we're me and my buddies were surprised that Temple didn't get our high school football coach. That's not who they got for the job. Now, yes, he does have like 8 rings as a high school coach, but that's how bad of a state their program is in right now. Is to where we're thinking they might hire a high school coach. So yeah, it's not pretty at Temple. Meanwhile, at St. Joe's, we're talking about a great Hagen Arena when it's full, like it's a great atmosphere up there in Hawk Hill. It's full.
They just need a new head coach.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There we go.
I haven't been able to ask you this because I've never talked to you before, Sorgi. It's nice talking to you, by the way.
Same here.
Are you in favor of the Big East ACC merger that's been rumored? Or
this is a very loaded question. Because I am a traditionalist in the idea that I like small conferences. I am in favor with generally that's more for football. Because the Big East for basketball is awesome. But it's tough because thinking of UNC Duke at the Garden would be like incredible. UNC Duke for a title at the Garden would be like fabulous. But at the same time, if they regionalize it right, I'm in favor. But only if they regionalize it. So if it's to where like we don't have to travel down to play NC State and Miami and all them all the time, then yeah, I'm okay with it. I would honestly, if I had to like pick 3 teams to add to the Big East, I would actually, and you can call me very, very crazy for this, I would be adding Dayton, I would be adding Gonzaga, and I'd be adding SDSU.
Dayton's made like one tournament they would have made one in COVID, but they've made like one tournament in since 2018.
They have arena size. That's my thought. There is they have arena size. They have a market, and they have a natural rival in Xavier. And then I want 2 Western teams. not because I really care whatsoever about SDSU or whatever, St. Mary's, whatever school. I just want Gonzaga. I want to watch Marquette Gonzaga. Like I want to watch Villanova Gonzaga. I want to watch those great matchups. Because as someone who, again, I'm a St. Joe's Prep guy. I go to a Jesuit Catholic high school. We love watching our Jesuit Catholic teams playing each other, and Gonzaga is as good of one as any in basketball. So to watch the Zags, a perennial tournament team, be in a conference like that would be great. I know that they're probably going to join the new Pac-12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it would be a dream to have them in a conference. But then you also have to consider like Temple or St. Joe's or VCU, like teams like that. And I just see the comment from Dave. Notre Dame should have never left.
Well, they didn't have it. They had to do it because of football scheduling.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing that's going to happen with the ACC is like
Yeah.
NBC is going to get Notre Dame's head. They're going to tell them, hey, we're getting a little sick and tired of these Notre Dame, North Carolina State games. We're getting sick and tired of that. I mean, CBS has more numbers on Notre Dame Purdue than we do on Notre Dame Florida State. So come on into the Big Ten.
Yeah. I mean, it will be interesting to see how. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the way that this all plays out is you get to like 64, 68, 72, whatever you want to make the number is, football teams. They all join up together, SEC, Big Ten, 2 mega conferences combined. They split up regionally, and that's only for football, though. And in basketball, I wouldn't be shocked if you had like the Pitt, Syracuse, West Virginia, Louisville, whatever teams conference. In basketball merge with the classic Big East Conference, and see things like that to where like it will be interesting. But right now we're in this era of, I mean, this is a point I should probably bring up. Look at how high some of these football schools are. NIL, like Tennessee, Alabama are both 2 seeds. You've got, I'm just trying to run through
Auburn's a football school, and they're a 1.
Yeah. I mean, Auburn's a both. Like they
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama is as a 2. Oregon as a 5. Oregon sprouted out of nowhere. Clemson's a 5 seed. I'm looking on the other side, and let's see, who do we have here? Oklahoma. They're not extremely high, but they're there. Ole Miss, 6 seed.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, another big school. So yeah, it's interesting to see these big time football schools showing out in the tournament.
Do you think that's just because of their revenue? They just got so much revenue more, they're just able to pour the leftover and still be better than everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why is UConn so successful? They have the highest non-football or non-Power 5 revenue in the country, other than Notre Dame. I mean, they're talking about like $100 million in revenue this program's making, and that is not even close to any other school. That's not a Notre Dame or a Power 4, I guess you'd say. So like at the end of the day, that's how they're getting these. That's how they're getting these players, and that's how they're contenders. And obviously, you have your like classic basketball outliers this year. VCU, a lot of the Big East schools like St. John's and Marquette, more the traditional programs that aren't as heavy on NIL, are like that. For example, Shaka Smart is not even willing to negotiate with NIL agents as of now, and is telling his players he doesn't need it. Well, might that come back to bite Marquette? Yes, but he has very bought-in players, and Marquette's sitting in the tournament right now, so I can't be too mad at him.
They're doing better than Indiana.
Exactly.
Will, by the way, do we need to explain any of this to Will and D, since he's a Notre Dame fan, about how any of this stuff works, since he hasn't been in the bracket for so long? Do we need to explain this to him?
I want VCU to. I've been wanting VCU to join the Big East forever. Like, I feel like there's a ceiling to what teams in the A10 can be.
Yeah, you're a one bid league this year, and it really wasn't even that close most of the year. I mean, Dayton was kind of for like the first week in January, maybe a 2-bid league, but yeah, you need to join an actual power conference that's not one big league. Memphis also is another team that I think needs to leave their conference. I mean, Memphis was just they torched their non-conference schedule. They beat legitimate good teams. They beat UConn. They beat Michigan State. I think it was, and they were never even questioned for a top 4 seed, and they dominated the American.
Well, I feel like Penny Hardaway, he's trying to do what Calipari did when they were in the Conference USA, but I'm just not seeing it because, like, yeah, they're doing all right in the American Athletic Conference, but part of it is the fact that Cincinnati left the conference, Houston left the conference, but can they make a deep March Madness run? I don't think Memphis can. I don't feel like they can.
Well, it's not about that. It's they basically every year have to win their conference, or they have to schedule the most insane non-conference schedule in your entire life to be in safely. And that's just not sustainable. Hey, in November, we have to win like against Alabama, Tennessee. That's just not sustainable as a strategy for the long term.
Yeah. Well, another thought off of that, though, is where would Memphis join? That one
Big 12. They want to join the Big 12.
Would the Big 12 want them? Like, are they producing enough revenue yearly? That's the question.
This may sound harsh, but they're probably doing better than they're probably average with most of the Big 12 teams. I mean, they're just a conference of irrelevancy in terms of or mediocrity. And Memphis is decent at football, decent at basketball. I think they fit in the Big 12 pretty good.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that they to me are more impactful or as impactful as a brand as TCU and Baylor and all these other schools.
Better than Cincinnati, probably.
Yeah, better than Cincinnati. I think they're as good as Houston in terms of brand.
Or we could see them in the ACC because I feel like the ACC, they're going to have some schools leaving for the SEC and Big Ten. And then we're going to see the ACC try to poach schools from the AAC and possibly the Mountain West.
What I could possibly see looking at this, so I'm looking. These are revenues from 2 years ago. They're not fully updated, but from 2023 revenues, Memphis was at 62.1. Houston was the lowest now Big 12 team at 78. Like the lowest, that's the lowest Power 4 team in all of the country of what I can, So maybe, but they're right there with like Temple, San Diego State, UNLV, Colorado State, James Madison, South Florida, et cetera, in the revenue game. Like TCU is sitting at, I can find it somewhere here. They're at 140 million, double. Memphis, which is insane, but football contracts, they are
right. I was going to say how much of that is football contract. Because Memphis is clearly bought in, like they're clearly bought into the basketball and football, and I think their conference is holding them back significantly for what they can do.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Will, are you going to the NIT? Have we got any news about Notre Dame? Are you going to any tournament?
I mean, next year has to be the year that Notre Dame gets good at basketball again. We're getting three top 100 recruits from the state of Indiana.
Listen, well, as a Kentucky fan, I can tell you what top recruits can get you. They can get you L's to St. Peter's in Oakland.
I mean, I know, but the freaking ACC sucks. I mean, there's no reason Notre Dame shouldn't be top 4 in the ACC.
Like, didn't you all lose to Miami?
Yes.
Man.
How about you just worry about beating the bottom feeders first before getting a double bye? How about that?
Miami is so bad in basketball.
That was the time I just stopped watching Notre Dame basketball after that. I'm like, I'm not watching this team. They're not worth my time.
So terrible.
But yeah, that was rock bottom.
Yeah,
I mean,
you lost your win.
My parents' alma mater, Mount St. Mary's, beat Miami. I mean, they're a tournament team, but
Oh man.
so happy for them now.
I mean,
They're playing down in Atlantic City.
Yeah, they weren't in Atlantic City.
Down at Boardwalk Hall. I know that there were some PCL alumni down there. A lot of PCL fans and coaches down there watching this week.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah,
I bet Mount had a couple of PCL guys. I mean, I haven't looked at their roster.
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, I know they have one WCAC guy from Gonzaga, the Jesuit WCAC school.
Yeah.
Here we go. And we got Minnesota Dave joining us.
Dave, what's up?
How you
Hey,
doing
how's it
today,
going,
good buddy?
guys? I'm gonna
It's
be
going
quick.
good.
I have to punch into work right now, but I
What do
just
you think
really
about
feel
the
that
mix between Nico Medved and Colorado State coach going to Minnesota?
I'm really happy about that because he's from Minnesota.
Okay.
He's originally he was what Clem Haskins would have as a player coach. And Clem Haskins used to have these guys that he felt were maybe not good enough to play all the time, but felt that they had a good chance of being a coach. And so basically, he was basically a walk-on, and then Clem had him as a player coach. He played a little bit, but not a lot. And then he ended up doing really well as a player coach. And of course, as a coach, he's done extremely well. The schools that he's been at. It took him a while to get a good school. The only thing that worries me is how cheap is Minnesota going to be. That's the problem. His buyout is $1.7 million, so that's not a lot for a Big Ten school to afford. But Minnesota has a tendency to be a little cheap on things. But hopefully they're not this year because they have to really try to keep this basketball program alive. And they need to do something with their NIL, too. It's a whole group NIL, and probably like 90% of it goes to football.
Do you
Yeah,
think
that's
Minnesota can ever be successful in football? I'm surprised it's 90% because I don't think they're going to be ever capable to be on that tier with the elites of the Big Ten. I would if I was Minnesota or these other teams go more into these other non-revenue sports and basketball in order to build myself up somewhat because you're just kind of in the driftless area.
Hockey is the biggest revenue sport outside of football, and that's always been a big thing here. It's a religion here.
Okay, well, us in the South, we don't have hockey. We don't even care about it. We don't, that's for Canadians, is what we believe in. We think it's their streets are just full of people playing hockey. That's what we think.
So the line for the VCU BYU game is BYU minus 3.5.
Oh, that's close. I mean,
That's
I'm
close.
saying it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But gosh, there were some surprises. I felt that again, North Carolina didn't deserve to be in. When North Carolina got in, I was like, Xavier better get in because they had a little bit more better record, at least with quad 1 wins. And I never understand that quad stuff because sometimes a quad 1 win or quad 2 wins can go down depending on how good or bad another team does at the end of the year. And that's just always weird to me.
Well, it's not only on who you beat, but it's how they do as well. So if a team loses to somebody they're not expected to lose, they're going to fall down. And if they're, depending upon home, neutral site, or road, extends the parameters for quad 1. But if top, I think 1 to 40 neutral is quad 1. So let's say they're 39, but they lose to somebody that's terrible, then they fall to 42. Well, it's changed from a quad 1 to quad 2 based on that result because the formula says, well, they're not as good as we thought they were, so we're having to adjust. And I like the system because it promotes transparency. And that's what we need is transparency. And I'm hoping college football implements a type of system like a quad. That way we can rationalize these games better.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. That's been the biggest problem I feel with the whole entire tournament setup for football is like, okay, why the heck is Boise State and Arizona State getting a bye? They didn't really play anybody. And they're getting a bye just because they're conference champions and they're weak conferences.
Right. Well, that's nothing that any projection or format-based or metric-based system can fix. You're going to have to fix the entire format of the system to fix it. And that's, it's similar to politics where everybody's got to get their piece of the pie. and then what ends up happening is nobody's really happy.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, though, 2026, the Big Ten and SEC can strong arm their way into getting exactly what they want.
Mason,
Because
Moose, you're only 2.5-point favorites against UC San Diego. I think you should maybe be a little worried. 2.5.
Well,
1.5 points? Oh, man. That's Vegas sending out an alarm signal that Michigan is probably going to lose. Because, they look at the odds of just how good you are compared to someone. They don't take into, the emotional consideration. Because, they're college kids. I'm sure all the Michigan fans are or players, staff feeling high about themselves. And then they got to play this team. And I bet UC San Diego, they're just being hungry. I mean, they're a dangerous team. They're a really good team.
I mean, a lot of teams that win their conference tournament lose in the first round.
Especially in the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten has just been known for being an atrocious conference in March Madness for the last 20 years. Especially that one a few years ago where Purdue lost to FDU, and I don't think any of them made the Elite Eight. I mean, it was a bad year.
Hey, can you guys hold on just for 1 second? I have to get a phone call.
No worries, just go on mute.
Yeah, just go on mute, David. And
Yeah.
hey, Moose, facts I know are a stubborn thing, so I understand.
but yeah,
You're
like,
not used to being in the tournament. Kentucky fans were always used to being in the tournament, so we know what it's like around here. And let me tell you, it's not fun being those 5-12.
I feel like Michigan State, I think, is going to go to the Final Four. I feel like they got a Final Four run ahead of them.
I'm high on them. Very high on them.
Oh yeah, because Tom Izzo he's got an ability to adjust to any era that he's in.
Yeah.
I feel like his offense is a little basic. That's what hurts them from winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like I'm extremely confident in them getting to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
It's just Auburn is going to be tough. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to pick. Back to that Michigan UC San Diego thing. I'm looking at ESPN.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm looking at ESPN's analysis right now, and we're talking about a UC San Diego team that is the only team in the country top 10 in turnover percentage, both on offense and defense. And they lead in points off of turnovers. So, I mean, we're talking about a team that can, that if Michigan slips up, if they go cold, they make mistakes. We've all seen our teams do that for a few minutes stretch this season. If Michigan does that, they're going to be in a tough spot.
I know they won the Big Ten today, but they had multiple stretches in that game where they looked really sloppy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, if they play like they did in the Big Ten title game against UC San Diego, I think UC San Diego wins. I think Michigan at a minimum has to score 60 points to win against UC San Diego.
Yeah, I was about to say, I really think Drake can cause a lot of turnovers too, and they can probably give Mississippi fits because they're kings at creating turnovers. And they get
Missouri,
off.
Dave.
Missouri. I'm sorry. I'm just so. Everything has changed so much over the years. I forget who's in what conference now.
You're fine. Is Minnesota going to the Crown?
No, they're not going to go to anything like that.
I saw Iowa was going to be invited to the Crown, so if Iowa was going to be invited and they declined it, I figured Minnesota might.
Minnesota has right now they fired their coach. We don't know who the heck is going on right now at Minnesota. And I think right now I think our athletic director Mark Coyle is looking to see. Right now, his number one choice, like we talked about, is Miko Medved, and then to see if Miko Medved decides not to come here, then he's going to have to still keep on looking. I think the Drake guy will be the next guy up, but then again, Indiana might fire their coach after not making the tournament again. So
he's already gone.
Yeah, he retired.
Yeah. Oh, then that Drake guy's going to go to Indiana.
I wonder who Iowa's going to get, honestly.
They're going to be last on the ladder because, they're Iowa. They're going to get their pick of the litter. They're going to get their absolute bottom. Unfortunately for programs like Minnesota and Iowa, if a big brand decides to fire their coach, they're going to fall behind them. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, and I would say that Minnesota right now isn't as good of a job compared to Iowa, because Iowa at least separates their NIL. They have a football NIL, they have a basketball NIL, and other sports NIL. So that's what they do. Minnesota just combines the whole entire dang thing, like I said.
There we go.
Yeah, this is going to be a good tournament. This is going to be
Yeah.
a fun tournament. I think this is one of the most, like, 2 weeks ago, I thought, man, Auburn and Duke have really separated themselves from the rest of the sport. It's hard for me to imagine anybody even competing with them. But with Auburn slipping up recently and with Flagg, unfortunately, with his injury, I think this thing's pretty wide open.
I agree. This is gonna be a fun March Madness. Like
Yeah.
now we don't know for sure who's gonna win.
Yeah, this is very, very open. Very open. How many first round loses do you think will happen for the SEC, Jarrell?
Well, I got to go through, I got to spend about 15 minutes, 45 minutes here going through each matchup because we got too many teams to.
Oh,
an
Drake's gonna beat Missouri, obviously.
I think Yale will beat Texas A&M.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't believe in Texas A&M at all. I think in terms of the SEC teams, I think they're probably the 9th or 10th best SEC team.
Yeah.
Like, I would have them in terms of eye test and power rate. I think they're below Arkansas this year. I think they're below Missouri. I know the resume doesn't suggest it, but just by watching them play, they just do not look good at all. That's just my opinion, though.
You
And
call
Yale
it beat-
loves beating SEC teams, right? Didn't they beat Auburn last year?
Yeah, that was a choke job by Auburn. Auburn was clearly the more athletic and better team, but I think the moment just got too big for Auburn. And that's unfortunate. I think that experience is going to really help them this year, though, because they know what to expect.
Ole Miss is going down.
Yeah, I always like to look at other conferences, like how well they do. Yeah, like smaller conferences, I should say, like the mid majors, and usually the most surprising, well, not say surprising mid majors, but usually the ones that have upsets are usually Ivy League lately, the Missouri Conference lately, of course the Coastal Conference, Athletic Conference lately. They usually get a couple teams that do pretty dang good in the
Yeah, I wish the
tournament.
CAA was still good.
Yeah, and then I would say then I also would say the Mid American Conference. I think the Zips are a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, but I do want to mention one thing that I'm just reading on ESPN here. High Point, 14-game winning streak heading into this.
High Point can score like. I mean, I know that it's the competition is lower, but they score like an SEC team. Like they can put up a lot of points.
Yes.
Well, Anthony, before you go, tell people where they can find you, good buddy.
You can find me Sorgi Stories. Not a lot on there, but hopefully eventually that will be more content. Anthony Sorgi Sports on Instagram. If anyone's watching,
Hey guys,
in the Philadelphia area, I'd say check that out for all Philly high school sports. And then WSJP for all things St. Joe's Prep.
There you go. Let's help the Sorgies get the 2,000 subs. Let's help them to get the 4,000 subs. Let's help them get there, man.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You too,
See ya.
Anthony.
Thanks for coming on.
yeah. Hey, I have to get going too, so I'm sorry. I get to
It's
work.
okay, you just know today. Thanks for
All
popping
right,
on.
talk to you later. Bye bye.
See you later, Dave. All righty, and then there's 3.
Jason, what happened to the Atlantic 10? It's that. I mean, I just feel like a lot of the teams left. Like Xavier left and stayed good. Temple left and was bad. You had Butler was in for a year and left, and and a lot of schools just got worse. Like St. Joe's got worse when they let Martelli go.
Yeah.
It's the situation. Dayton chokes every year, almost every year.
Maybe they can get Drake to come into the Atlantic 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Wichita State should leave the AAC and try to join either the Big East or the Atlantic 10, honestly. So that would be pretty cool.
Jackson, what you got cooking up?
Well, I've got the next edition of Crimson Tide Live coming on tomorrow with Coach Burtz and Jeffrey and On Talk Sports, where we are discussing about how March Madness is here, and we'll scrounge up some college football headlines for Alabama football. And I've got my next episode of the Jacksonian coming on. I'll be filming Tuesday night, but I will release it sometime during the week or sometime on Wednesday, where I'll be having Grayson Boone from Locked On Wolfpack discussing Will Wade and other coaching candidates for North Carolina State's men's basketball program. And is Dave Doreen next? I don't mean that in a good way for Coach Doreen, but for more on what I've got going on Alabama at the Voice College Football and on the Jacksonian, before we go there, I'm 104 subs away from the magic number 500 on Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube. And I'll need all the help I can get to 500, and we'll get there soon enough. We got through the storm yesterday, and we'll get through the rest of March and the month of April. And for more updates, what I've got going on, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on /Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. Will, what have you got going on, good buddy?
Well, I know I gotta get my personal channel up. I just been tired, but I gotta get a Notre Dame video up. But yeah, just check out my Twitter. I got some fun VCU conference tournament stuff going on. Same with my Instagram. And yeah, it's just been a fun ride, and we're hoping to. Hopefully, we can do a show on Tuesday. We'll talk to Jackson post show afterwards. But I'm thinking that we're gonna try to get Matt Zemek on to talk some March Madness.
Nice. There we go. So that'll be fun. You can come on in, check out Will on Will and D Irish on YouTube. Give him a follow, Marcus_era, and on Instagram and Threads on Klowski414. With that being said, we thank you all so much for tuning in and calling in. And like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification. Oh, well, we got one more caller, it looks like.
Oh, who's popping in?
There
Austin,
we go.
what do you think about your Cardinals?
Can you hear me, fellas?
Yeah.
Loud clear.
What's up, guys? Happy Selection Sunday.
Happy Selection Sunday, Austin. How have you
It's
been?
not happy for Jeffrey, I'll tell you that.
Man, I'll be honest. I thought Indiana was going to make it. Like, man, was there some highway robbery or what in there?
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
I mean,
Ralph, good pick, Ralph. I'll give you mine in a second, but that was going to be mine initially. I'll get a different one.
I mean, looking at who they picked to put in, Texas, I could see because they had the big win. They made the little run in the SEC tournament. Xavier, they kind of dealt with injuries, so they kind of got the benefit of the doubt. North Carolina, I know they made that big run in the AC tournament, but how do we justify them having one win against one quad one team? How do we justify that?
It doesn't make sense.
I know,
And San
right?
Diego State, what did they do exactly to earn a spot?
Well, that big market.
They beat Creighton, and they beat Houston in non-conference.
Yeah, and Creighton is a 9 seed, so that kind of helped them out. Which I'm glad that we get stuck with the 1 seed if we happen to survive Creighton. That's nice. Thanks. First year back in the tournament, guys. Welcome back.
It's in Lexington. It's in Lexington, Austin.
Let me see.
Which
I'm looking at the choke region for the Midwest. Because like everybody there just chokes at some point.
Will, I'm liking your all's matchup against BYU. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's
You
gonna
got
be
the best.
I just hope it's
You got-
not super late.
Yeah, you got the best defense in the A10 against one of the best offenses in the Big 12. Which
Mhm.
one's going to prevail? I'm looking forward to watching that.
It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Oh man.
And Jackson, how are you feeling about your boys in Bama? Any
Let's
upset
get
on the
through Robert
horizon?
Morris first. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Robert Morris.
Mhm.
Morris is not to be messed with.
Mhm.
No. Sleeper teams.
The West region is stacked. Jeez Louise.
I feel like maybe. Texas Tech looks like a sleeper team. Good grief! I mean, they're maybe Michigan.
Gonzaga.
Is Michigan State a cop out, Ralph? I was gonna say Michigan State and Maryland.
I mean, a lot of people are going Michigan State or Auburn. I'm sure. I'm thinking Clemson could be a sleeper.
Yeah, I don't want to call it, but I'm going to say this: don't sleep sleep on Drake.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
No,
Don't
gonna.
sleep on Drake. Don't sleep on UC San Diego, and don't sleep on VCU or Colorado State. Those. Four.
Nah, Drake. Yeah, Drake's gonna talk dirty to Missouri.
I wouldn't sleep on Oklahoma either. I think they're a good team.
Mhm.
I feel like Porter Moser is in that same boat that Shaka Smart was in. I don't know why, but they feel much similar.
Well,
Yeah, UConn's a sleeper. I mean, every time people sleep on, they go on a deep run.
Yeah. It's just they're gonna have to play Florida in the second round. It's gonna be tough.
let me ask you guys something. If we somehow manage to beat Creighton, do we stand a chance against Auburn?
Well, Auburn's not playing well. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, so you're gonna. I think you'll have a chance.
What worries me is Janai Broom.
Yeah.
He could take over a game single-handedly, and we've got no bigs to combat that. That's why Creighton scares me to death. I don't think we're going to beat Creighton because Ryan Colpern, I think, is going to have a field day with us.
Let's see. I think. Let's see. I'm gonna say. Let's look at it, shall we? I feel like Ole Miss is going down. I feel like Creighton's gonna win for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not too confident either in my guys. And if we beat Creighton, I don't think we'll get past Auburn.
Here we go.
Maybe Ralph.
I mean, I gotta say this too, Will. VCU got a nice side of the bracket.
Yeah,
y'all could make a run at this thing.
I do hate we're playing a road game though, but I think we'll have a shot for sure.
And the thing too I caught was Michigan. They didn't move up at all after winning the Big Ten. I wonder what kept them at 5.
I feel like they just didn't even before the Big Ten championship happened, the committee was like, you know what, we're just gonna stick them here. They're not gonna move. Whoever wins, they're not gonna move.
Because they were talking about that on the broadcast. They were even shocked that Michigan didn't move up to a 3. They thought they could have moved them to a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, because that's why I'm kind of like, if you win your conference tournament, that's cool. If you're 1 cool, but what does that automatically mean you're going to win it all? No. I mean, I saw where Aaron Torres was saying that the narrative on Tennessee not being a March team should be shut down. Well, here's saying that.
No, that absolutely needs to be a narrative. They have not proven it yet.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you went to the SEC tournament. Get your little cookie. Move on. You're in the title, but you're not in a national title. Let us know when Tennessee makes it to a Final Four, and then we'll stop the narrative.
And to Moose's point right here, I agree with you, Moose. I thought after they won the Big Ten, I thought that they would move them up and move someone down the way they went on the run. But I guess they, like Will said, they were just like, okay, here, Michigan, we don't have much faith in you to begin with. So here, you get stuck at 5 and like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting, too, looking at it. Jackson, Alabama was close to a 1 seed. If y'all wouldn't have blown it to Florida, that could have been you all today.
I really don't care about being a 1 seed. I mean, I just don't care about it. I just want to get to the Final Four. I mean, 1 seed does not mean you're in the Final Four.
You do get to pick your region, though, if you're a 1 seed. You get to choose where you get to go, though.
Yeah, but like the last few times we've been a 1 or 2 seed, we've gotten our butts handed to us when we shouldn't have.
That is true.
Yeah,
But-
because like 2023, 1 seed, lost Sweet 16. 2021, 2 seed, lost in Sweet 16. Not saying that's happening this year, but I'm just saying that's something to keep an eye on.
Well, and the thing about it, too, is, Jackson, with Bama, I honestly feel like, Jackson, you'll have the best, like, offense and maybe out of anybody in the tournament. It's just your defense is what's going to drag you all down, because y'all could absolutely win the whole thing. I really do. It's just your defense. And no offense to you, Jackson, but your defense kind of is porous at times.
Oh, none taken. I mean, we allowed an SEC tournament record of points from Florida yesterday. So it's just not looking too. I am just like, no. I'm not liking where things are going right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping for the best, preparing for the worst.
Mm-hmm. And the thing,
I don't take that point, Moose. I like that because I think you'll be. I think like if A&M beats Yale, I mean, I think you'll be A&M because A&M's just fraudulent. So I think if you beat UC San Diego, you'll probably make the Sweet 16 because A&M's just not good. Like I'm not sold on this A&M team at all. So
I mean, Buzz Williams could be looking at another job as well.
Oh yeah, he could be.
mm-hmm. And let me ask you guys this, especially you, Jackson, and you too, Will. How do we think George is going to do against Gonzaga?
Oh, they're
Is
gonna
that
get
an upset?
blitzed.
By 15 points at least.
Gonzaga's getting out the belt and just pulling George's pants down, spanking him with a belt.
I mean, we're not going to give him at least a slight chance to upset Gonzaga.
Not a
No.
chance. Georgia.
I tried Georgia.
Georgia's mid.
And something else that was surprising too is West Virginia. They were ahead of Indiana on the bubble. That was really shocking.
Oh man. Okay, so Cooper. Okay, John Shire is saying that the goal is for Cooper Flagg to return on Friday. So we just got some news just now.
I can see a world where no SEC team get in the Final Four.
Yeah. And to that point, Jackson, I don't think Duke really needs Cooper Flagg for round 1.
No.
I mean,
Virginia thought they didn't need DeAndre Hunter against UMBC though. I'll counter with that.
that is true, Will. Let's not give disrespect. I mean, there's always a fighting chance, but you saw what Duke was like without Cooper Flagg. They were almost better. Like, I dare say they were almost better without him.
Let's see.
And another interesting thing is, speaking of Duke, Houston, Auburn, all the ones, Florida, out of all the 8-9 games that we look at right now, fellas, are any of the 8-9 winners possibly going to knock the 1 seeds out, or do we have the 1 seeds going all the way to the Sweet 16 at
I
least?
feel like Gonzaga could, UConn could, but other than that, that's about it.
What about you, Will? What do you think? Any of the 8-9 winners knocking ones out?
If Gonzaga was playing Auburn, I would say yes. But I don't see it this year.
Oh man.
I mean, I would like to say, hey, in all honesty, without any unbiased, I would like to say Louisville could give Auburn a really good game, but like Janai Broom and the matchup against Scott and company, don't get me wrong, we've got some nice bigs, but Janai Broom's one of the best big men in the country and one of the best players in the league. That's why I'm kind of like, let's hold off on that.
Yeah.
Still can't believe that Carolina got in.
Well, that's because their athletic director's the head of the NCAA tournament committee. Yeah, he stepped out of the room, but does anybody really think he didn't have any influence over the rest of the committee? Of course he did.
And Ralph brings up a great point here. He says UConn could beat Florida because of coaching experience, but Florida has the best depth in college basketball. That's true.
Just Florida's been playing so well, though. It's hard for me to pick against Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's now BYU minus 2.5, and it's Louisville minus 2.5 over Creighton.
That's a shock. Is it because it's in Lexington?
I bet.
I would have thought Creighton would have been favored by like 6.5.
Do you like it that it's a bird battle?
I mean, it's kind of fun because we don't play Creighton all that often. It's a good matchup to see where we're at. I mean, because Creighton's a really good basketball team. We're going to get tested. We didn't get – not that anybody's a cupcake when it comes to the tournament, but, like, if you get one of the softer teams, like one of the – like the Bryants, the underdog teams, you kind of don't get tested at first. But the 8-9 games, I've always liked them because they're two really good battle-tested teams. And Ralph says, well, we are talking who could upset 8 versus 1. I mean, that is true. I mean, if anybody had the best chance, I think it's UConn. I agree with you, Will. And Ralph, I think it's UConn. Maybe Gonzaga.
It was West Virginia, Ralph. West Virginia was the first one out.
I was about to say, Boise wasn't even that close, were they?
No, I think they were the 4th out.
Shows you what the committee thinks of the Mountain West.
I mean, if Colorado State and Boise State wasn't the final and it was New Mexico and Utah State, I think that West Virginia would have gotten in. I guess that's what they're saying.
I mean, and let me ask you guys this. What ultimately cost Indiana their bid?
Just all the close games they lost, I guess.
I mean, because they arguably have one of the best wins in the tournament over the 2-seeded now Michigan State Spartans.
I want to look up Indiana's schedule one more time.
Because they're the only one, Will, honestly, it's them in North Carolina. Because the way you at Jackson, the way I've heard people talking, not a lot of people are upset with Xavier, and not a lot of people are upset with Xavier. Like, a lot of people seem to be okay with them.
I think it was the 25-point loss at Iowa. 85-60 that did them in.
Yup.
Because Iowa didn't even sniff the bubble.
because I'm like noticing this Discord, like Indiana, North Carolina is like the only two I'm hearing debated. Everyone seems to be fine with Xavier. I don't hear much
People
complain
are-
about
there-
San Diego.
there's people that are happy about Xavier, but North Carolina is just one that people are just completely upset about. Like Xavier, some people are upset about, but not as much as Carolina.
And I mean, here's the thing too. I've heard the discourse on Texas too. Some people are like, really, Texas?
They beat
Like-
Tennessee, but it was a preseason scrimmage, Ralph.
Yeah, that probably didn't help them either. Because to be honest with you, if Indiana probably beat Oregon, there might have been a really good chance they might have put them in if they would have just beaten Oregon.
Oh man, we got Ren Baker talking about how he is heartbroken for West Virginia hoops, and he says, "quote I can't comprehend this team being left out. Our resume was better than several teams in the field. It's a terrible travesty that we were included. I have so much appreciation for Coach DeVries, our coaching staff, and players. They deserve better than what the committee delivered today.
Is it because is Tucker still hurt? Tucker DeVries?
Oh yeah. Darian DeVries, yeah. Let's see. They deserve better than what the committee delivered today. Let's rally around these young men and let them know how proud we are of them."
Yeah, there's a couple seedings today I thought that were a little wonky. Like honestly, and this is being all seriousness, I thought we would move up in the bracket from the 8th seed. I thought maybe they would put us on the 6th line. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And honestly, Will, I thought VCU would be like in an 8-9 game. Like in all seriousness. Because y'all almost had 30
You know
wins.
what, Austin? The one silver lining in being an 11 seed is that you're going to have a good chance of winning 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one's going to take you serious.
Yeah.
That's the best part of nobody taking you seriously is you get underestimated and boom, you can make big wins all over the place.
And here's the thing. You would think with VCU, they would not do that knowing what they did once before.
Yeah.
But they still do.
I guess it was that one backyard brawl loss that did West Virginia in. Even so.
And Ralph brings up, says Louisville getting home games might be better for them. You know, honestly, now that I kind of sit here and think about it and talking to you guys about it, honestly, that Lexington is probably going to be packed with a sea of red.
Yes.
So it'll almost be like a home court advantage. So on second thought, I might not mind it.
Man.
Kind of like Oregon getting to go play up at Seattle.
Yeah.
So they were talking about that today because I heard something when they were talking about it earlier. They were saying they were kind of curious where they'd put Oregon and UCLA if they'd make them go back out on the East Coast. But they did them a solid and said, here, go play in Washington and be happy. We're not going to punish you.
There we go.
But yeah, I would say, though, out of the 3 of us sitting here, I say Jackson, obviously, besides you, you probably got the best draw out of anybody, out of the 3 of us. And then Will, and then me, probably.
Oh man, we could see an Alabama VCU ball game.
Yeah, the Sweet 16, that'll be fun.
Hey, if that happens, maybe we should do like a watch party on Alabama at the Voice of College Football.
Mm-hmm.
Just have like you, me, and Jeffrey, Coach Burt's.
Be honest with you, Jackson, and Will, you'll like this, but if Alabama plays VCU, I might pick an upset. Because here's why, Will, because you all like to score in the 50s and 60s. If you can hold Bama in the 60s and 50s, you all have got a chance.
Yeah, we have a shot. And our offense is a lot better this year than it's been.
Like I want to see Alabama in one of those grit and grimy games. That's why, Like, that's what scares me, because if Alabama gets in one of those grimy games, can they pull themselves out of it?
Ooh. Probably like McNeese State over Clemson.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, trying to think. No. I mean, what?
Is Jeffrey having watch parties again? That is something you're going to have to ask Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports, Dave Valinsky.
Mm-hmm. And you know something else that frustrates me, guys? How in the heck did Kentucky get a 3 seed? Explain to me that.
But yeah, I mean, like if Alabama, but yeah, Kentucky. Let's see what they can do in the round of 64 this year.
I mean, they got a 3 seed. How in the heck does that happen?
I don't know now. I really don't care what your seed is. I want to see what you do.
I mean, Kentucky got a favorable draw too.
Like, is it because they're Kentucky? Giving them the benefit of the doubt?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised they didn't put them in Lexington, to be honest with you.
But yeah, Dave, you can definitely send Jeffrey an email on the, like, you can send him a DM on Twitter, or let's see. I bet you'll see like the email and the description link on YouTube. You can ask him about if he's doing watch parties, man. So that, but
yeah. Well, go for it, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can let them know that the people crave a Jeffrey Don't Talk Sports watch party. They're starving for one.
And I'll say this too. I know you had Sorgi on. How does he feel about Marquette's draw?
Well, what do you think, man?
I mean, I think he felt pretty good about the New Mexico game, and but Michigan State, he thinks they're going to lose to, because they lost Michigan State a few years back.
Mm-hmm. And Ralph Wolf brings up a great one. Colorado State over Memphis. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, because like
Vegas has Colorado State favored.
Well, it doesn't surprise me on account of the fact that Memphis tends to blow it in March as well. I mean, Penny Hardaway is trying to be like Calipari, but I'm just not seeing it. That's just not going to happen.
I mean, I've seen some people say Memphis could go to the Final Four. I mean, is that too much? Or
smoking? What are they smoking? I don't know.
I know PJ Haggard's really good. I think he won American Conference Player of the Year, but other than that, does Memphis have a team assembled to go to the Final Four?
Well, I don't feel like Memphis is a Final Four team, but that's just me.
What about you, Will? Do you see Memphis making a Final Four run?
I see them losing to Colorado State.
That answers my question. I mean, they were in a slugfest with Tulane the other day, if that answers any more questions.
There you go.
And that's a good point, too, right? Well, Marquette and New Mexico may be the best day one game. It could be one of those games that's like 51-48.
There you go.
That's true, too. I mean, who did Memphis play in conference and that challenges them?
Nobody.
Like, is the American that bad? I try to give them a little more credit. Are they that bad?
They used to be
America
really
ranks
good.
below Conference USA in terms of how good is your team that's going to finish 9-9.
I mean, the Michigan State win got better in non-conference play. Connecticut win, that's aged a little bit like milk, but not too bad. Clemson's aged like wine. Ole Miss look good. But I mean, it's pitiful. The American Athletic Conference is pitiful. It's just jumbled up.
Never mind. Yeah, the American used to be a really good conference. That's why I was like, have they deteriorated that far?
Well, and I think what really hurt them too was like UConn going to the new Big East, and Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida leaving for the Big 12.
Yeah. Like, I'm not bought on Memphis being a Final Four team. Just put that out there. I'm not buying that hype. I'm just saying I've heard that out there since the bracket's been released. Some people think Memphis is a dark horse to go to the Final Four, and I'm like, let me see what they can do in these first couple games, and then we'll have a talk. But until they beat somebody good, then we'll talk.
I want to know who those people are exactly.
Yeah, besides Memphis's fan base themselves.
Exactly. It's a mess.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll say this too, Jackson and Will. I'm happy for you, Will, that VCU got it done. I know Jeffrey was a little nervous about the A-10 tournament because he was afraid that we were going to have a bid stealer. And turns out the committee even told us it didn't matter who won the A-10 because they weren't putting Indiana in to begin with.
Oh, man. Well, and Austin, what else have you got for us today, man?
Nothing much. I'm excited about the tournament. I'm glad Louisville's back. I'm happy for you, Will, on the A-10 win. I'll be pulling for your Rams against BYU. Jackson, hopefully Bama could get it together before it's too late. And it's March Madness. It's the best time of the year. Nothing better than this. This, maybe other than the Super Bowl. But even that doesn't compare. But yeah, congrats to you, Will and Jackson. Hopefully Bama can get it done before it's too late. Thank y'all.
Check out Austin on Sports Talk with Austin on YouTube and get him a follow on Austin W 1980 2639 on X/Twitter, and you can get some top takes on Louisville basketball and the Nuggets and all the other stuff from him, man. So check him out on X and Twitter and YouTube. And stick around the back room for a bit. We'll wrap this show up in a bit. Goodbye. And that does it for us. And like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will see you real soon on the next edition of the Buzzer Beater and next edition of Jackson. Stay tuned, everybody.
Thanks, guys.